Well, hi, good morning, and thanks for joining me here in my shop on August 11th. A day with some rain during the day. Then it's going to clear up, and hopefully by tonight I'll be out looking at the persists in the sky. But in the meantime, I'm back to working on this radio. This radio's been aside for about a week while I waited for some parts. The parts finally came. Just a couple of capacitors I need to do. Couple of large capacitors underneath, and I think I'm going to investigate, after doing that, I'm going to investigate these two electrolytic capacitors and consider replacing these. I suspect these are important in the FM detector. I suspect. So, now, I'm going to flip this radio right over. And get access to the capacitors underneath. Okay, I think we'll just go this way. There we go. Okay, where are you? You two capacitors. So one big one's right here. What was this thing ever out of balance? One big one right here. And the other big one is kind of hidden up under the antenna terminals, and I believe it's just involved with the antenna. It's probably not even worth changing this one. But this one, I think I'd like to find out where this is in the circuit before I do it. And this is a 0.25 microfarad capacitor, and it appears to be all tied up in the tone volume area of the radio. 0.25. Okay, let's take a look at the schematic here. Okay, well, I spent about a half an hour looking at that schematic on my own, trying to sort out where this capacitor is in the circuit, and the only conclusion I can come to is the schematic I've got doesn't exactly match this area. That's the only conclusion I can reach. I'm not going to go over it. I'm just going to have to accept that. I don't know what this capacitor is really doing. Something in the audio section. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it. And again, I don't really expect any improvement, but let's give it a go here. You know what I can do? I can cut it out, we can test it. Just keep the camera rolling here. Okay, so one terminal on this capacitor is going to ground. This is a ground terminal here. And the other one is going to this terminal, which then runs through a resistor to this terminal, which runs through a resistor to this guy. This is the plug for the tone control switch bank, and you'd think I'd be able to trace it back this way, and that's where the schematic apparently doesn't match. Okay, I'm going to go down here, or I just couldn't sort it out. There we go. How do you get it out of there? I think if I just push it this way, it'll fall right out. Fall right out. There it is. 0.25 100 volter. Looks to be in really good shape, actually. Wow. This looks to be in really good shape. When you say all this time, I've been waiting to change a capacitor that in fact is in good shape. Okay, let's take a look at the capacitor checker here. This one looked great too, but I think it tested bad. Okay, we are already on 50 volt setting. There we go. And it's closed completely, it doesn't open at all. So it's a very leaky capacitor. It's in a circuit with resistors around it. Can't be helpful. You know, a big resistor like this could be involved in the AVC, and the AVC does not seem to be working in this radio. Maybe, you know, that's a big stretch, but maybe that's what's going to happen here. Okay, so I'm going to put in the new one. We're going to try this radio out. Oh, what about the other one? Yeah, I'm going to leave the antenna one here. For now, it's not doing anything of significance here. Okay, soldering that in was a little more difficult than I had imagined, but that's usually the case. So I'm going to flip it over, test this guy out, and see what's happened here. Oh, oh. There we go. Okay. Now we have to hook up the speaker here. And we're interested in FM because of the high sound quality, and the AM wasn't particularly sensitive, if I remember right. Antenna. So we need to stick some kind of antenna up there, up here. Okay, there we go. Are we ready? I think so. Volume is down. We're gonna go for, we'll start with the medium wave band, but we'll switch to FM. Okay, there we go. Set is off. Set is on. Nothing happened. You know why? Because I didn't plug the power in. That's always a little extra thrill. There. Power's still on. There we go. So we're running very low voltage here, 93. Let's jack it up. At 108 volts on it. Wow, this is really bad stuff. That's terrible. What has happened?
Far we've come. Paid public servants can pull a drive-by on a 12-year-old playing alone in a park in broad daylight, killing him on television, and then going home to make a sandwich.
That's Jesse's acceptance speech for BET's Humanitarian of the Year award. That speech might feel especially relevant right now, but Jesse delivered it 4 years ago. And as you're about to hear, Jesse's been using his voice for this type of activism long before he became a celebrity. You can find him on the September edition of British.
So the pointer is very hard to see. It's right here. So 95.7. Boy. That's full volume. Well, that capacitor certainly doesn't help the situation. We still have terribly low output. Not so bad on AM. Lots of volume here. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I noticed. Look at this. Huh. Okay, give us a station. Right around here. Rotate it into place. It's there. Barely. To make of that. That's a really bad showing. Output very low on FM. So my other intention today was to deal with what I would call the FM detector capacitors. Let me cut the power. We'll do that and see what happens. And I'm pretty sure it's one of these two here. I hate to do this. I gotta go on the schematic and see if I can find these. These should be much easier to spot. These should be much easier to spot. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then hopefully we'll find them. Okay, so this is the output tube. This is the detector tube. This is almost certainly the FM detector here. And there is an electrolytic capacitor. And then over here on the output tube we have a bypass capacitor sitting here. Now this is usually a little bigger than electrolytic. These are electrolytic. Is there any others that jump out here before I make some kind of mistake? So I think that's what those two capacitors are. One is this one and the other is that one. Oh, yeah, no, these are the big ones. The big filter capacitors. That's a 50 right there. It's not so big. But 148 and 133. Oh my gosh. So this is what I spent a lot of time looking at, this table down here. 143, that says 0.01. That doesn't make sense. We're already into the this doesn't make sense thing. What happened? 133, 148. Did I get the numbers right? 148. Well, looks like a 10 to me. And 133 looks like a 2. So this 2 is most likely, almost certainly, the detector capacitor, and the 10 is almost certainly the bypass. So let's look at the radio now and see if there's a 2 and a 10 in there. Okay, a 2 or a 10? There we go. Oh, I see this one already. It's a 4. And this one is a 100. Well, what happened to 2 and 10? So 100 makes more sense actually. It's a small capacitor because it's a low voltage duty as a bypass. This is almost certainly the bypass, 100. And this is you know, even though I thought it said 2, it probably does say 4. That's what that's going to be. I got to get rid of these 2. And they look to be in really good shape. Do they? Who's to say for sure? They don't look rough. But I'm going to change them both. You know what? A really bad bypass capacitor could be responsible for low volume. And now it's low volume only on FM, isn't it? So it can't be that. Maybe this one. Maybe I'll just change this one first, the 4, and we'll see what happens. Change the 4. Change the 4. Let's cut it out and we'll test it. And make sure I leave enough wire up on top here to make the replacement. So testing an electrolytic is a little bit more difficult. They're all inherently leaky. 70 to 80 volts it says. Oh, it's got a date on it. That's not a date. No, that's not a date. Nordmende. Okay, capacitor checker's sitting here waiting. Now to do electrolytic I have to remember to flip that switch. And most importantly I have to remember to flip it back. Red is positive. You have to be careful about the polarity. Okay, here we go. 50 volts. Oh, what's this one good for? 70. Well, this is the only test we can do. Well, it opened right up. Doesn't show any sign of leakage. Now, if we put this on normal, I think it'll just show a completely leaky capacitor, but that's to be expected. So, but on, well, so it's not leaking at all. We can measure its capacitance. Why don't we try that? Just give it a moment here to get rid of any residual charge. This is supposed to be a 10 somewhere on the scale. I'm watching the eye now. So the eye is reacting right here. It's not visible on the camera. Right in here, and the scale I'm on ends with 50. There's 50. There's 10. There's 5. So this is showing something at around 6. That's supposed to be 4, isn't it? 4. So typically my tester on a leaky capacitor reads a little high. Now this one didn't test leaky in electrolytic, but I don't have much experience with that machine testing electrolytics. It's out anyway. We'll put a new one in and we'll see what happens. Just remembered I have to keep my eye on the weather because my cats are outside. Some rain is coming. So on a lot of FM radios, this particular capacitor is responsible for distortion. Distortion mainly. Distortion in the FM. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to scrape it with my pliers, not the most effective way of doing this. Okay, that's that one done. Let's see what happens now. Speaker back on. Okay, volume down, power on. Starting with the broadcast command again. What I did shouldn't have any effect on this. Okay, we got 109 volts on the receiver. Should be enough. It's working the same as it was. What do we get?
How we ever get so far down? How could ever go around? Turn my eyes to heaven. I thought, God, why don't you?
That huffing sound is my soldering iron. There. Is this just a bad antenna? Could it be as simple as that? Good receiver would receive a fair number of stations through there.
So we're doing all of the work.
This is
All of it.
this is moving.
And it is the grade of the terrain is incredibly steep. I hope some part of that addresses your question.
I'm so grateful to you for having said all of it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you all.
There's a
Thank
little
you.
more volume.
Jesse Williams is an actor, social activist, and the star
So
of
this
the
is
new
a,
film, Random Acts of Violence. It's available on demand and in select
a
theaters
mono
in Canada
broadcast
now. You
in
can find
FM.
it on Shudder in the US and UK on August 20th.
Not that it should make any difference to this radio.
I'll just do this. Yes, we are.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I think I got an improvement in volume out of that. Down now. Oh, one more. That's the bypass, the 100 bypass. Okay, let's cut the power before I get too excited here. Now, volume doesn't seem to be that low anymore. 100 at 50, looks like 50 volts under there. 100 at 50 volts. I probably have one. $100 at 12 to 15 volts. Okay. Let's give them a go. Okay, so it's set for electrolytic, 50 volts. Oh. You can barely see that in the camera. It opened part way. So I just put 50 volts on a 12 volt capacitor. Maybe that's the reason that happened. Yeah, I didn't really think hard. Okay. Yeah, really, you know. Human beings are against hard thinking. Hard thinking consumes a lot of energy. 100 at 15 volts. 100 at 15 volts. 100. Uh-oh. So I'm gonna have to hunt. I'm gonna have to hunt around my shop here to find one. So here's what I'm looking through. surprisingly enough to me, I purchased a large amount of Nordmende repair parts. Now these aren't really Nordmende parts, most of these, but let's see. Nordmende. But these may not be Nordmende parts in these bags, but elsewhere I have a whole bunch. These are all my capacitors. I've got lots and lots of them here. Goodness knows what condition these are in. Now I have tested a few here and there just to find out, and they seem to test okay. Look what I've got. I've got 100 microfarads at 25 volts, made in Mexico. Looks to be fine. This is never used. This is what you would call NOS, new old stock. Let's put it on the tester and find out if I've got bags and bags of useless stuff. Well, not really bags and bags. I bought a lot of stuff. A lot of interesting things like volume controls. Okay, so which way is positive? Positive's got to be up this way. Okay, we're set for electrolytic. We're on the 50 volts. This thing's good for 25. We're going to give it 50. That's a test. And it's opening slowly. It's charging up. It's 50 volts on a 25 volt capacitor. Okay, let's try measuring it. It's supposed to be 100. Okay, so where's 100 on here? This is 20 to 1,000. 1,000 is here. 20. Whoa. No, 100 is here. I don't see any reaction at all. What's that tell you? I don't know what that means. That means we're going to try this on another meter. And where is that other meter? There it is. 200, good. This will go high enough. Oh, don't tell me it's dead. Oh, this is the lousiest meter of them all. This is the only meter I have that does not turn itself off. If you don't turn it off, it eats a 9-volt battery. Brr. How many 9-volt batteries have I burned up in this thing now? Okay. 9-volt battery. Like I didn't even put the locking screw in anymore. Put this 9 somewhere where I won't mistake it for a good one. Okay, where are we at now? What did I hear? We are. Put this guy in. Set this on 200 microfarads. Hold button is down. 35. Uh-oh, I'm becoming the man with 2 watches. The man with 2 watches never knows what time it is. Ooh, 10. Did I grab the wrong one? This is it's the 100. So on this tester, the 100 that came out of it reads 10. And the one I'm pondering putting in there more of these. Let's see how consistent they are. Where? Here. $100 from Mexico. That's a lot different. Let's put this one on the other tester. I'm now like the man with 9 watches. Okay, so we're on the electrolytic setting. This is a, what's this? This is another 25 volt being hit with 50. Doing the same as the last one. Opening very slowly. Okay, give it a moment. I'm going to bleed off any charge that's left in it. And let's try measuring it. Oh, look at that. This one opens right up. And where is it opening up? Right on 100. Dead on 100. I put my finger there. Right there it says 100. Look at that. Okay, so you know what? This guy's going in. He's going in. But he's old, Jim. He's old. Yeah, well, the guy who's putting them in is old too, so... Now, I'm pretty sure this was... Oh, I think it was this way. Uh-oh. Something I should have made a note of. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this way. Positive up here. Okay, a little bit of sandpaper. Yeah, see, leave it on. That's how you kill the batteries in this thing. Or like I leave the shop for a minute. Of course, once I'm out of the shop, I can't remember where I'm going or what I'm doing. Before you know it, I'm doing something else. Forget totally. I've come back in my shop after being out for hours, you know, roaming around my house doing stuff, and walked back in and found everything still on, all the equipment, the radio I'm working on. Yeah. So, you don't want to be too hard on old stuff. I mean, there is a certain catharsis for an older person working on older radios, keeping them alive. There's a theme there. I don't know if I can sandpaper on that. A little bit. Doesn't take much. Just want to get some shiny metal showing there. Okay. Do I remember which way this was? Positive up here. Positive. bad pair of pliers because they're completely smooth inside. There we go. Time for just a quick peek at the radar here. Make sure looks like the storm has abated. In fact, there's not much left of it. You lucky cats. So this capacitor I'm doing is the bypass capacitor on the cathode resistor of the output tube. His job is to make sure the signal doesn't go through that resistor. Okay. One of the things I'm going to do here, just because I know myself fairly well, is I'm going to monitor the voltage on this capacitor. As soon as I turn the set on, make sure I have it in the right way. That's how doubtful I am. Actually, I'm quite certain I got it right, but then I'm not. So we want to see this go positive right away upon applying voltage. Everything else is ready. There we go. Come on. Should do something. There we go. And it's going positive. Perfect. Oh, I can leave it on. Leave it on. Pull this off. So if this guy's not working well, some of the signal in the cathode circuit of the output tube is consumed in the cathode resistor, and you don't get the output that you could get. Speaking of which, where's the output? Where's the output? Ooh. Okay, that didn't work out so well. We're on FM. Oh, you know why? No speaker. No speaker attached.
Do something good and bad, what have you, you know? All these things, we swing like a pendulum, and yet we're, but that can spin you around. So you know that's was sort of what was.
So this is a relatively strong FM signal. It's not causing the eye to move very much. On AM, the eye moved a fair bit. That means the AVC voltage is being developed. On FM, not so much. FM volume is low.
Yeah, I mean,
It's better, right?
it's delicate territory.
Ooh, that's a lot better.
I
I still think it's a little low though, because listening, I'm not using the correct speakers either, but the listening level,
You know, just even like my little body's just
that's pretty high.
a little like a china shop, thinking about somebody.
Weak output tube at this point. I swapped the output tube, shot a video I never posted. In the video I saw that in fact I had swapped the output tube with another, actually weaker output tube by accident. So we're going to put the original output tube back in at this point. And we're going to see if it gets louder. So to do this,
We knew him, skated some thin ice and could make you kind of worried for him. You know?
memorize that volume.
And I think,
I
those
got
who
cloth.
knew would know what I'm talking about.
But that said, he didn't live in that place all the time. He wrote in that place.
He didn't live in that place. Okay. Wow, that was hot. That was hot. Back to the original that came with the radio. Did you remember the volume? Did you remember it? Well, it's definitely not a good sign. What happened? Okay, maybe the tube didn't set in the socket quite right. That's unexpected. Okay, finger at the top. There's no output. Oh, I see it. Hold on. I gotta turn the power off. The speaker wires clip came off and wandered. Looked a little scary. Don't like wandering clips. Let's put it back on. What did I do with this now? Did I put that back? Oh, son of a gun.
Rocky Erickson. I have a tape of Rocky Erickson from Matthews.
Yeah, for sure. Like he loved all those people. I
ruined the test.
Wish that he had some,
okay.
Prolific, as Joel said. Joel and I went to visit his
more volume.
sister, who showed us that she had.
So this is still a weak output tube. It's just,
and then these hard drives. Like he was writing the whole time, and Joel's cataloging all these songs. And he was doing all of this.
Sounds great, eh?
Really,
the tone,
any feedback
quality,
except for some friends. And as Joel said, neither of us, well, especially me. I don't mean to speak for Joel. Like I hadn't seen him in a long time, and so the songs on this record are all written between in 89 and 95. All these recordings are from 1995.
Had the treble down.
And he was still young and fun, and even though some of the lyrics even then were dark, I would say a lot of them are funny, but some of them are dark for sure.
What's that sound?
He was just still a young guy with possibilities for himself. He never.
Okay, so next step is to clean these switches. Because, wow, I heard it. You heard it? I heard it. We all heard it. Once again, the switches have come to haunt. I'm going to pull this out of here. Flip it over so I can get at the switches. Probably that way's the better way. Better way. Stick this guy back on here. Just stay in place while I flip you. Take the antenna off. So I want to go this way. Take the cord right out. There we go. Okay. Push buttons. It's really not a bad guess that there's going to be trouble in the push buttons with a radio like this. We're still way off weight-wise here. Didn't I clean these guys already? Didn't I do that already? I did that already. So what happened with the FM one? This is the FM. Yeah. There's some dirt flying around right in it. Yeah, probably spitting on it. Spreading the COVID. Well, we should try cleaning it again. Now, I tried spraying stuff right up the back here. Did I not get up high enough? Or is that a false impression? When I pushed the button hard, was I causing some kind of weird connection that boosts the volume improperly? So what I'm doing while I'm flipping the button, I'm looking for some other place to hose it in there. This thing appears to be wide open from the sides here. So I can spray some of my favorite magic elixir just as an experiment here. Get it right in there. Now does that go right into the switch? Oh wow, goes right through the switch. Is that really? Maybe I'm missing the mechanism. Trying to feel if I'm bumping into the moving part here. Doesn't feel like it. I don't want to be spraying stuff around for no use. Here's another little hole. Doesn't go any distance. There's all kinds of tiny little slots that you could potentially spray through. So those slots are where there aren't any important switches. The open slots. There's one wire going way up to the front here, and I spray from the back. It'd be hard to get it all the way up to the front. Maybe that's the guy who needs it. And he seems to be all alone. So I could just line up on one of those slots and let her rip. And let her rip. There's this switch too. That's activated with FM. How much I want to bet this is really the bad actor? Okay, so this one, oh, it's got big holes here. This is the only switch that moves that? Yes, it's FM only, so let's hose them some more. So this time I want to tip the whole radio up on its end. What's on it? What's on the end here? Just this piece here, which is a little weak, but we're going to do it. We're going to tip it up on its end. I'll hang on to it. Get gravity working in my favor. Oh my gosh, I've left the top off here all this time. That's what was rattling around. Oh. Yeah. Okay, I'll worry about that in a minute. Trying to remember what I'm doing. Down in. Down and in. goodness knows if that got where it needs to go. Let's tip it down this way. Get gravity moving the fluid this way a little bit. And now we're going to flip it over, or are we going to operate it like this? Let's operate it like this. See if we got anywhere. Usually I'm doing stuff like that with the set operating, so you can hear the difference right away and know what happened. Not so with this one. Okay, put this guy back in. Speaker back on. Did we get the volume back? Volume's down. Start on AM again. Power on. Pretty good volume on the AM side. FM. Ooh. Was that little speaker doing that? That bass? Wow. So I think it's this switch is still dirty. Let's touch it. So close. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Look at this. Oh. We're gonna get a copyright hit for that. Oh, look at that. Dirty switches. Let's see what else we can get now.
Has been a leader in the property restoration and cleaning industry. Winmar has been assisting hotels, restaurants, transit.
That's an interesting song. That's a really interesting song. But we can't listen to it. Reception a little weak, but it could be bad antenna. I'm just using a piece of wire. Oh, look at that. So I can hear a touch of distortion. Overloading my sound system there. Hey, that's another great song. Took me right back to high school. Well, how do you like that, eh? Turns out it was fooled again by this radio, and buttons are the problem. So I'm not completely convinced I resolved all the button issues, and I suspected maybe. Hey, let's not suspect. Let's see what's going on in shortwave here, and then we'll call it. Okay. Shortwave outdoor antenna, but I don't think it's switched on right now. Let's put this on shortwave. turn the volume up. Unshielded capacitor, maybe. But look at how high you got it. By the time you got it this high, your ears are blowing off, I'm sure. Okay. Clip on. Just back down the volume a little bit. This is, I think, this is just the antenna lead. Ooh, that doesn't sound right at all. Does not sound right. So the frequency we're on right now, we're way down at 6 megahertz. There's nothing happening at this time of day. We ought to be up around here. Up around 12, 13. Okay, so I'm going to go make sure the antenna's switched on. Getting a good response on the eye. Just turn this down a little bit. Okay, I'll be gone for 12.78 seconds. Didn't seem any different. Pretty darn quiet up there. One station. Another station. No, I'm not comparing to another radio right now, so.
People love to
There we are.
think about or talk about, let them study the commands that the movie describes. Very few people actually study their Bible. Yet every Christian hopes for salvation. A young ruler asked Jesus, "What good thing must I do to inherit eternal life?"
Did you know in the Bible there are instructions for how you can have sex with your brother's sister but not get her pregnant? Did I say sex with your brother's sister? Your brother's wife. Sex with your brother's wife but not get her pregnant.
Why don't worldly ministers tell you about this verse?
Why didn't they tell you about this? Lots of stuff in that Bible that churches do not want to talk about. Like the second set of 10 Commandments. Oh my God. Hey, I went to church when I was a kid. I did the whole Sunday school thing, 2 years of confirmation classes in a Lutheran church. Nobody ever told me there were 2 sets of 10 Commandments. Go check it out. If you think I'm making this up, go check it out. Read the second set, and you know why that set is never brought forward in any kind of church. Check it out. Go read your Bible. Well, I don't know what to say about this. I don't know what to say about this. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to stop for now, and we'll let all this cook away in my head. And could be we're really close to the end with this radio, in fact. not sure I want. What's going through my head, to be honest with you, is should I attempt an alignment on this radio? It's all in German. I've studied it. I can't speak German. There's a few things in there. Wow, is there really anything to be gained? I gotta think that all through before I start poking around with a radio that's working reasonably well at this point. So thanks a lot for watching, and tomorrow's another day.